Today, we're reading one of several passages in the New Testament where we get a prophecy of the future and the end of the world as we know it. And now I'm going to have that REM song stuck in my head for the rest of the day. Hi, I'm Justin Lee, and this is A Year of Bible. Well, today we're reading Mark chapter 13, where Jesus spends a lot of time talking about dark times looming on the horizon. Are you ready for this? Let's read. As Jesus was leaving the temple, one of his disciples said to him, "Teacher, look at the magnificent stones and buildings." "Do you see all these great buildings?" Jesus replied. "Not one stone here will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down." While Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives opposite the temple, Peter, James, John, and Andrew asked him privately, "Tell us, when will these things happen? And what will be the sign that they are about to be fulfilled?" Jesus began by telling them, "See to it that no one deceives you. Many will come in my name, claiming, 'I am he,' and will deceive many. When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, do not be alarmed. These things must happen, but the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places, as well as famines. These are the beginning of birth pains. So be on your guard. You will be delivered over to the councils and beaten in the synagogues. On my account, you will stand before governors and kings as witnesses to them. And the gospel must first be proclaimed to all the nations. But when they arrest you and hand you over, do not worry beforehand what to say. Instead, speak whatever you are given at that time, for it will not be you speaking, but the Holy Spirit. Brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child. Children will rise against their parents and have them put to death. You will be hated by everyone because of my name, but the one who perseveres to the end will be saved. So, when you see the abomination of desolation standing where it should not be, let the reader understand, then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one on the housetop go back inside to retrieve anything from his house, and let no one in the field return for his cloak. How miserable those days will be for pregnant and nursing mothers. Pray that this will not occur in the winter, for those will be days of tribulation unseen from the beginning of God's creation until now, and never to be seen again. If the Lord had not cut short those days, nobody would be saved. But for the sake of the elect whom he has chosen, he has cut them short. At that time, if anyone says to you, 'Look, here is the Christ,' or 'There he is,' do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will appear and perform signs and wonders to deceive even the elect if that were possible. So be on your guard. I have told you everything in advance. But in those days, after that tribulation, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the sky, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. At that time they will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory, and he will send out the angels to gather his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its branches become tender and sprout leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see these things happening, know that he is near, right at the door. Truly I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. No one knows about that day or hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Be on your guard and stay alert, for you do not know when the appointed time will come. It is like a man going on a journey who left his house, put each servant in charge of his own task, and instructed the doorkeeper to keep watch. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know when the master of the house will return, whether in the evening, at midnight, when the rooster crows, or in the morning. Otherwise, he may arrive without notice and find you sleeping. And what I say to you, I say to everyone, keep watch." As human beings, I think we can't help but be fascinated by this prophecy stuff. We want to know what the future holds. And so over the centuries, many people have studied these prophecies to try to figure out exactly what they mean. When will this happen? And what exactly is it going to look like? People have famously tried to calculate the date of the end of the world many times, and there have been predictions upon predictions of when it would happen. Misled people have sold all their stuff to prepare for the end of the world, and then when it didn't happen, they'd have to go back to their daily lives with their faith shattered and their lives in disarray. And it's a shame, because I think Jesus makes it perfectly clear right here in this passage that that's not what we're supposed to do. He says no one knows about that day or hour, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Be on your guard and stay alert, for you do not know when the appointed time will come. He tells us here that we're not going to know. He doesn't say, "I've left you a set of clues sprinkled throughout my teachings, and if you are clever enough, you'll be able to figure it out." Like this is a Dan Brown novel or something. No, he says, even I don't know when it's going to be, which is a fascinating statement right there. But certainly if he doesn't know, then we're not going to know. It can be dangerous to try to draw too many conclusions from these kinds of prophecies, and we Christians ought to know that already. After all, we believe that Jesus was the Messiah prophesied by the Old Testament, but that the religious scholars of Jesus' day missed him. They had spent so much time studying these prophecies that they thought they had a clear picture of what was coming, and Jesus didn't match that picture in their minds. Christians can look back at the Old Testament and see all these connections and foreshadowing of what was to come in Jesus, but it really only works one way. People reading those passages before Jesus wouldn't have made those connections or thought about those passages like that. So we need to be careful. Because if the religious scholars of Jesus' day could have misinterpreted a prophecy to miss Jesus, we can easily misinterpret prophecy ourselves and miss things right in front of our faces. But if these prophecies aren't meant to help us figure out the future, when everything will happen or what exactly it will be like, then what's the point of them? Well, part of it, I think, is like foreshadowing in a movie or TV show. I love that. I don't know about you. I love when a movie or show has a great plot twist near the end that feels really earned, because afterwards you can go back and see all the signs pointing to it, all the clues and foreshadowing, so that it feels so obvious looking back, but there was really no way to figure it out along the way. That's hard to pull off, but when a story can pull that off, it's so satisfying when everything just clicks into place at the end and it all finally makes sense, right? Well, God is the author of all of this. And I believe there's a lot that doesn't make sense to us now that will eventually click into place like that and make sense in the end. But Jesus gives us another reason for this prophecy right here in this passage. He says to be on your guard and stay alert. Have you ever worked for a company where your location was just one part of a much larger company, and then one day you find out that the higher-ups are coming for a visit from the corporate office? What happens? Everyone suddenly goes into overdrive to make everything look perfect before the bosses get there, right? Get it clean, get it organized, do all the stuff you were technically supposed to be doing all along that you haven't really been doing, and then be on your absolute best behavior, looking as busy as possible while the big bosses are there, right? And that's exactly why some companies do things like sending secret shoppers to their stores, because they want to know what it's really like when you don't know the boss is coming. And they also want you to know that you won't know, right? Because they want you to be on your best behavior all the time, not just when there's an announced visit. And I think that's what Jesus is saying here. You won't know when the end is coming. You're not supposed to. So live every day like it could be your last. Not in a selfish, pleasure-seeking way, although I do think God wants us to enjoy this life, but in the sense of staying true to your priorities and your values. If Jesus came back today, would you be happy with how you've spent your time on this earth? Are there people you still need to make things right with? Are there wrongs you've done that you still need to make amends for? Or grudges you've been holding that you need to finally forgive and let go? Are you using your gifts and resources to honor God and love your neighbor as yourself? Or is that something you've been putting off until someday in the future? Don't wait until someday. Make it today. Because while there's a lot about Jesus' prophecies of the future that we won't understand until after they're fulfilled, there's one thing we know for sure. The end will come when we least expect it.